Peace is the only option that we have to make sure that nobody will get the ideas every 10 years to take Lebanon and drag it into a war which we have nothing to do with it. To be able to do that, it's very simple. The Americans told us, everybody told us, the only way is to sit with your opponent or whoever you are have a disagreement with and come to a deal. You don't negotiate with your friends, you negotiate with people that you have disagreements with. So as far as I'm concerned, Lebanon has to set up an official committee, not advisors, with a number 5 or number 6 or whatever is the number of a committee. Once you want to kill any decision, you create a committee. So what you need is one single individual that is authorized by the government, like the Minister of Foreign Affairs or any other minister to that effect. We're not saying it could be a Shia, it could be a Christian, it could be anybody. But you have one person with a clear mandate that we need to achieve peace with Israel. Once we do that, and once we can confirm to that other party that we are willing to implement the agreement that we did on the 27th of November and to disarm Hezbollah, then yes, we can sign peace. But if today we're going to create a committee and we claim that you need national consensus to disarm Hezbollah, why would Israel be willing to sit down and talk to you? The only option is to achieve peace, to take this country forward. Remember, we had in 1949 an armistice treaty that lasted until 1967. So it means, yes, we can achieve peace and we can basically work all together to move this country forward into prosperity and to allow it to be a better place for our children. This law has to be disbanded. This has to be removed. 1955, when the law was issued by the Arab League for the boycott of products of Israel, it wasn't meant to be used the way it's being used now. It was supposed to be a commercial boycott. Then the Syrians and after that the Hezbollah and all of this decided to turn it into a tool against anybody that would like to talk about peace with Israel. And it becomes now, basically it's a crime against the state, crime against the state. This needs to be dismantled. Now, you tell me, can we get now the parliament to approve that? Well, at least the ministry can issue, the Minister of Justice can issue a law today saying that we will suspend using this law until we get it to the parliament in order to revoke. Hezbollah has to be disbanded. Hezbollah has to be stopped, whether political or military, because there is nothing called Hezbollah military and political. Hezbollah has a deep organization in security, armament, and financial. Hezbollah, not only we need to disarm Hezbollah, we need to dry all the resources of funding, which they use the cash economy in order to survive. This needs to be stopped and stopped now. And that's another question to the government. Why haven't we stopped the Qard al-Hassan? Why we haven't stopped this illegal financial aspects from being handled? Why we are not controlling the transfer from Turkey and Iraq and other countries? We need to do that because just disarming Hezbollah and allowing their cash to stay, we will giving them time to regroup. You see, according to the Vienna Convention of 1961, Article 9, as a host country, when we say persona non grata, they have to leave. The way that they are challenging now the decision of the government, by the government of Iran on this, it's very simple. They do not want to do it. I will cut all political ties with Iran. Then they will become a people with no diplomatic force and that will force them out of the country. And this will not cause any civil war because at the end of the day, the Iran is challenging the state of Lebanon by saying, I will not respect that. So it means, why should we keep any political and any diplomatic ties with them? We should cut it and we need to show the world that we are in control of our destiny. We need to implement what we promised the world. Remember, on 27th of November 2024, we promised that to cessation of all hostilities. The government took that famous decision on the 5th and 7th of August 2025 in order to implement, to disarm Hezbollah. On the 2nd of March 2026, they disbanded the military activities of Hezbollah. All what we want to see is a real action to follow up. We believe these are great decisions that have been taken, but at the end of the day, this is the executive power, and all the government reports to the government, so we want to make sure that this is implemented. The rest of the world is telling us very simple. We are by your side. We would like you to be in control of your destiny. We would like you to be in control of your country. All what we need to do, implement what you promise us. Okay, so all what we are encouraging now the government is to implement that and to do it. If we cannot do much about in the southern parts of Lebanon, what about Beirut? The army can step in, go into Dahi, raise the Lebanese flag, try to put checkpoints as in my plan that was published, in 5 points plan. Make sure that Beirut is controlled by this. This is what it happened in 2024. And the security in Beirut was much better than now. So what we are asking for is things that we have done before. This can be done without having to be threatening people's life as being perceived by the publicity of Hezbollah, because all what we're doing, we're protecting everybody's life by trying to get the army to be in control. Go back to 2006. The biggest mistake that the government did at that time is that they've accepted to operate through Hezbollah. So most of the people that were affected during the war in 2006 are mostly the Shiites area or the Shiite controlled areas, okay, which is the south, the Dahi, and all of these things. Instead of the government actually going and setting up all of these assistance facilities, and trying to do that, they agreed under the pressure from Hezbollah to channel everything through Hezbollah. So Hezbollah was perceived as the savior, the one that's paying the money, the one that is building homes, the one that is giving repair money and all of this. This time, what we are telling the government, don't make the same mistake that were done in 2006. Okay. For example, the sports city. Okay. Remember, this is a very important center that can house out to 8,000 or 10,000 people. Luckily for us, the army is there. So it means it's physically available. So it means we insisted that the security should be managed by the Lebanese army, not by anybody else. But in those centers, besides the sports city, if you're going to create a community of 6,000, 7,000, 8,000 people that is there, and not to be managed by the government, but to allowing NGOs close to Hezbollah to manage it, this will be becoming camps. We don't know what goes in, what goes out, and I'm sure you have heard 2 days ago that the army confiscated crates of weapons being smuggled into a couple of schools in Beirut. Okay, so this is how Hezbollah, obviously, Hezbollah uses people as human shields, and we've seen it in Beirut, where they hide in residential buildings, okay, and Israel has been targeting them. So we need to make sure that this will not happen, and this is where we demanded that the army now should come and take over Beirut, be there in Dahi, be there in Beirut, because now since most of them, they are in their barracks, after the invasion of the south, then let them come to Beirut and then actually take over the security of Beirut. If we can do that, we will save the settlers, the displaced that are being pushed out of their homes, and of course, to save Beirut this way. What we see this time is a more centralized involvement by the government. You have the Ministry of Social Welfare and the crisis group in the Prime Minister's office. They are becoming more involved in trying to do that. But the question is that, do we have the human capacity in order to manage all of this? I don't believe we can, and we should be doing more. When we are debating the budget, if you recall, okay, there was reallocation of these reserves of $160 million for the Reconstruction Council of the South and for the Ministry of Health and a few other entities that Hezbollah politically controls. The war started, we haven't seen any of this money, 160 million, is being used in order to support them. So unfortunately, yes, there is a lot of abuse out of the budgets into these things, at least in the ministries that is controlled by Hezbollah and their allies. I think in 2024, the government managed these services much better. Okay. Today, we have been told by the Minister of Economy that the government was ready for all of this. Unfortunately, we don't see how ready they are in order to be dealing with that. It is our duty as Lebanese and as NGOs in order to help out people that have been forced of their homes without their knowledge or their willingness to do so by Hezbollah, by going to war for things which we have nothing to do with it. We have to find the right, respectable way of allowing them to feel comfortable and all of this. But this requires a national strategy, because obviously this war, what we hear from the Israelis, is going to be a long war. So it means I'm not sure how many of them will be able this time to go back to their homes. And I don't see that national strategy, how to deal with the people, the displaced people. The issue of quarantina, it takes a different dimension. First of all, in Lebanon, there is nothing called temporary. Okay, everybody that, you tell me which decision we have taken in Lebanon for the last 50 years that started as temporary and then it was changed, because most of the time it becomes permanent. Our concern with the quarantina issue, first of all, it's located in a very awkward position. It's near the port. no facilities. It will create a lot of traffic problems within that area, because this is the northern entrance into Beirut to come in. And most important, this doesn't have the facilities to have respectable place to keep them in. But the problem is that, why does Beirut every time has to be the one that has to take all these refugees in? We have the duty to help as many as we can, as long as the facilities can take place, okay? I think what we are waiting from the government is to give us a clear strategy whereby most of these people have to be settled all over the country in a way that you can give them respectable housing, respectable services, and not to conflict with the hosting community, okay? The location of the quarantine is definitely bad, okay? It will not, I don't believe, it will give them the respectable way of living. Plus, we have not seen, is this going to be a permanent facility or going to be a temporary facility?